Good meowing guys, gals, MBs, and YouTube catters. So I hate to say this, but I have finally been converted. If you were part of the box opening last Tuesday, opening up at Maze of the Millennium, right before I went to locals, part of the subathon, then you would have already seen this coming already. If you haven't already, you can click the little eye above my head, a little corner up there, if you want to watch that box opening stream. I got very, very lucky with my maze boxes. Also, quick thank you to those who joined for the subathon, those who donated. We managed to hit all of our goals, so there will be a recording of locals coming up here soon as well, once this YCS season blows over. But that being said, if you were part of that stream, if you saw that stream, so you've already seen this coming. Finally been converted, and I finally obtained my Fiend Smith package for White Forest, and I've been playing it these past 2 weeks. Last week, with the first week, we went 3-1 with it, and then this week we actually managed to get the 4-0 and go undefeated. So I thought I would share my list right before we hopefully get a ban list coming up this weekend at YCS Houston, but who knows at this point? Who knows? So let's get into it. I do feel like this is the best and most consistent way to build White Forest, or at least the strongest way to build White Forest, is fighting through so many hand traps. It still gets stuffed by if your opponent just opens 3 or 4 hand traps. Like, it's not the ultimate, penultimate god way of building this deck. There are a lot of successful lists of pure White Forest out there. After playing this for 2 weeks, I honestly kind of like pure White Forest a lot more, just because it allows for more expression, it allows for more open deck slots. I don't feel like I'm shoehorned into the Fiendsmith package, which takes up at least 6 deck slots. And you could also build like more consistency and stuff as well, it feels like, if you're playing just pure White Forest. I did also test for a few weeks the White Forest toy box. While I like the toy box engine, and you can find success with the engine, the issue with the toy box engine is there is no feasible way to play around nib other than just putting crossouts in your deck. Because if you do open toy box and go through the toy soldier, toy box, set toy soldier, set tank, send soldier to activate like an LZ or an Estella or a Rusia or something, there's literally no feasible way to get to your Omni before 5 summons unless you've hard opened the Deception cards as well, or the Sinful Spoils cards as well. So I didn't really enjoy Toy Box, while it like did create a lot of material to use to go through your combos. It played into so many more hand traps, and you could get blown out so much easier going through Toolbox, at least from what I've found. Anyways, back to the list. I'm sorry I went on a little tangent there. As always, we're on the 3LZ, pretty standard for White Forest. If you're watching this deck by now, you already know what these cards do. 3 Sylvie, best normal summon by far. And then we are on the 3 one-ofs, LZ Azamina, the White Forest, a Stellar, and Rusia, a little OTS Rusia. So I tinkered around with these numbers for a few weeks as well, adding like the second Azamina LZ, the second Rusia, for consistency to try and hit White Forest names. Honestly, you can't do it in Fiendsmith, that's for sure, just because you just don't have the open deck slots for it. Honestly, I've seen also people just cut the Stellar as well, but I think like I'd much rather be a White Forest deck than a Fiendsmith deck. I think the White Force engine, once it gets going, is insanely strong. So I want as many names as possible. And the Stellar does come up sometimes in longer grind games as well. Like, it is still a good card. It's not a great normal summon compared to Sylvie. But sometimes you do open like a Stellar plus Tails. So if they just imperm Ash, Valor, your Stellar, you've already sent the Tails. So Tails just grabs Rusia, and you're still going combo. Then you can always, of course, pitch Stellar off of Deception as well. For spells and traps of the White Forest variety, we're on the 2 Tails,
The one Scourge, one Sinful Spoils, the White Forest, and the one Woes. I really want consistency with this deck. I want to open combo as much as humanly possible, and that's why we have the two tails in here. I've seen lists go down to the one tails because a lot of the times if you're going combo, you're just searching the tails. But I think two feels fine, feels right. If you're looking for deck slots to like cut down on cards, because we are at 43, I could see going down one tails though. For our Sinful Spoils package, we are on the Double Dia Bell Star. I might actually cut this down to one. It hasn't, having more than one hasn't really come up, or needing more than one hasn't really come up, since you can just recycle it back with the 3 wanted. This is never really a banished target for any opponent unless there's nothing else in your graveyard. And honestly, like I said, I would like to cut down from 43 to like a healthier 42 or 41. Rest of the Sinful Spoils package, we are on the one Deception, the one Hollowed, and the one Morian. So Morian has been an ad these past couple of weeks. I've really enjoyed Morian a lot. It is a great utility card. If you haven't seen this card already, I don't know if I've covered this in a previous video, but it is a Book of Moon for a special summoned monster on a normal trap. But the good thing about this is it has the effect in the grave to set itself on the field. And because it's a trap, that is a quick effect, so you can activate that during your opponent's turn. And I will show you the little spice coming up in the extra deck for this card, and a reason why we run this card mainly. One Deception, you could possibly go to two Deception, but we're always searching Deception in the combo regardless. And then, finally, the Fiendsmith package. The Double Engraver, Lacrima, Fabled Lure, Attract, and Fiendsmith in Paradise. I mean, what can I say about this package that hasn't already been said? I kind of hope, even playing this package, that Moon of the Closed Heaven does get hit in this next coming ban list, because I don't think every deck should be able to go to summon two monsters through hand traps and then just go full Fiendsmith combo. It's fun to play with, but I'd much rather just like play this in a Fiend deck like Live Twins, if they do ban like Moon of the Closed Heaven or something, to make this less a generic engine. I really feel it kind of feels bad to take up six main deck slots for this engine. I even want to get rid of the Fiendsmith in Paradise, because I'd much rather be able to play reactionary cards to my opponent's hand traps, and I'd much rather be able to play consistency cards to make sure I'm going full White Forest combo into Fiendsmith. And then finally, for the hand traps, we are on the triple Ash Blossom, the triple Droll, the triple Nib. We were at 2 Nib, 1 Effect Veiler, but honestly, the Effect Veiler was just getting sided out every time regardless, so I just moved over to the triple Nib. And then the triple Infinite Impermanence. Yay! This is all going to change here in the next week as well. We're going to be doing a box opening of Stampede when it comes out. Hopefully we can hit our play set of Mold Charmies, or Mold Charmy Fuwalos, because that's going to change this deck significantly. And then once Alliance Insight comes in as well, it changes the deck significantly again. And to wrap it up, our non-engine Spells and Traps, our Triple Tactics Thrust, Triple Tactics Talent, and Called By. I really would like a second Thrust, I'll be honest. I really like the package of 2 Thrust, 1 Talent, because if you get stuffed, if you get stopped, if you get drolled, you can always just Thrust for your woes to set it. So again, 43 cards in the main deck. I definitely want to cut down to 42. I'm probably going to retool this deck a little bit more. I'm hesitant on making any major changes until we get a ban list. Hopefully, again, fingers crossed, it is this weekend with YCS Houston. Speaking of YCS Houston, we're going to be watching that on stream over at twitch.tv/Grinning Neko if you want to join me on Saturday and Sunday as we hang out and watch that and play games. With Alliance Insight coming up. We're going to be doing a video as well very soon talking about the Alliance Insight cards, and with the potential ban list on the horizon, we're going to talk about those cards as well. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like me to hold off on the Alliance Insight review until after the ban list, if we do get a ban list this weekend at YCS Houston, because I'll be honest with you, what that ban list has completely determines how strong White Forest is going to be in the foreseeable future. If they don't limit or get rid of Shifter, if they don't get rid of Abyss Dweller, problematic cards like that, White Forest is going to be in the same exact position it is now currently, I believe. Anyone who's really telling you that, like, oh, Alliance Insight changes everything about White Forest is going to be top tier, White Forest is going to be broken, like tier 1 meta deck after Alliance Insight without seeing what's coming out on this ban list is just lying to you. Let's get back to the extra deck. Pretty straightforward. 1 Roselia, 1 Silvero, 1 Diabell, and 1 Chaos Angel for our synchro packages. Chaos Angel, extremely good, extremely busted. And of course, you have to run all 3 of the White Forest names. For fusions, we have the Torozo, since we're on 2 Diabell Star. Sometimes you just break and just open only Diabell Star. Azamina Muraciliaga, Azamina Ilisavia. I am still on the Soul Aristichium because this card has... The first week I played Fiend Smith, we were playing the Wave Hiking Caesar and Necro Princess in these slots. And while Hiking Caesar is great, while it's wonderful to make, you can make, if you go full Fiendsmith combo first, you can make it as your 6th summon. But I mean, making it, no one wants to just Nibiru that board regardless. So it basically is making it before 5th summon. But the issue with it is it really turns this into a going first only deck. And I really had no way of like breaking boards well. So I switched back this week to Solar Stygian because this card, while the effects may seem weak, it's just very good utility card. It's only one. It only costs 1 Sinful Spoils card. It's a targeted send to the graveyard. It actually came up in my game 1 where opponent was playing Blue Eyes and made a Yangzing Floodgate that locked me out of light monster effects. So Solar Stygian, being a dark monster, was able to target it and send it. And then once you use its targeted send effect, you can just take one of your White Forest tuners, like your spare Rusia, like your spare Sylvie, and make a light and dark Chaos Angel with it for a second banish. And it's just a really good 1-2 combo to break boards. And I have so much difficulty taking it out of lists I play. And then we, of course, are on the 1 Fiendsmith Desiree. Desiree is just super strong, always part of every inboard. For our Link monsters, we, of course, are on the 1 Requiem, 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven, the Sequence, the Agnum Day, and the SP Little Knight. Week 1, we took the Agnum Day and then out for Necroquet Princess as part of the High King Caesar line. And honestly, I just like having the Agnum Day. It also gives me an extra spell and trap to send with Diabell. Because ideally, I don't want to send the Sequence, because if I send the Sequence, then Desiree can be targeted. But being able to go Desiree effect, negate 1 or 2 face-up cards, and then send the Agnum Day to the graveyard to do the Diabell effect to special summon my Silvera. It's just and still keep Desiree untargetable. And then, are you ready? Are you ready, Catters? Are you ready for the goo? Are you ready for the sauce? Are you ready for the tech? For the last slot in the extra deck, we are playing Azamina Moa Regina. So this card is taking up the Guardian Chimera slot in the deck. And I would like to thank, I believe, Anti-Yami on YouTube, catching one of his videos for this brain worm, for this brain tech, a little worm in my brain. This card has been absolutely insane for me. I highly recommend you try testing this card out if you're playing the Fiendsmith version of this deck. because the fusion materials for this monster are one illusion monster, which is 90% of the time going to be your Diabell, and then one level 6 or higher Fiend monster, which, oh look, we have Fiend Smith Desiree on the field, who's already used his effect. Moa Regina has been absolutely nuts. So let me explain to you. Let me walk you down the path. Let me teach you, my children. Let me show you. All right, basic inboard. We have our Diabell. We have our Ila Sevilla. We have our Desiree. And then Desiree has the sequence and the Agnum Day attached to it. Full uninterrupted combo. We'd have Sinful Spoils of the White Forest and Scourge set. So what we can do during our combo, we can actually search and send out this Sinful Spoils Morian and use this for our Hallowed Azamina material. So it's sitting in the graveyard during our opponent's turn. And this is the typical inboard that you end on going full combo with this deck. We have the face-up negates from Fiend Smith Desiree, up to 5. You never need 5, but hey, it's there. You have the Omni negate with Ila Sevilla. You have the Diabell to summon a tuner synchro, and you have Scourge to target negate to protect your front row. Because what often happens with people going second in this meta is they're playing like Metal Tronus, they're playing Ultimate Slayer, they're playing Dark Ruler No More, Forbidden Droplet to try and break your boards. If they do open one of those cards, if they do try and like Dark Ruler No More your board to shut off your monster effects, or Ultimate Slayer to shuffle back like your Ila Sevilla or Diabell or Metal Tronus as well to shut off effects, you can Scourge Tribute the Diabell to negate that spell to protect the rest of your board, and then Diabell comes back. We still haven't used the Diabell effect. If they're just opening combo regardless of trying to board break, we have Desiree as first form of interruption to negate up to 5 cards, 5 face-up cards. Now, our second form of interruption, we go Diabell, send the Agnum Day to the grave as a spell or trap, so we don't have to send the other 2 back row that we need to special summon our Silvera, and then Silvera being summoned adds back LZ back to your hand from the graveyard to go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So this is all normal stuff. This is the same stuff you get with Guardian Chimera. Now, if you were playing Guardian Chimera, though, your next form of interaction, if you use the Ila Sevilla, is you would go Sinful Spoils, Fuse, and then fuse the LZ in hand if you didn't have a monster in hand that you want to get rid of, or you were on like a hand trap like Droll or Ash Blossom that you didn't want to get rid of. And this is how you make your Guardian Chimera. The problem with that is now you have used your starter for the next turn. So if they somehow live through this turn and you have to go to kill them now, you have no starter. You're left with like a hand trap. You're left with like a Droll or an Ash Blossom in hand, and not enough to actually lethal them. And also another downside, especially since we're playing Droll in this deck, for like sometimes you just want to Droll the first search of your opponent to shut them off from continuing, like is a Ryzeal and they go Bonfire first, you want to Droll them to stop them from going any further. The issue with Guardian Chimera is if you aren't able to draw the card, you don't get the pops, so it makes that card dead as well. Why we have Moa Regina now is we go, after we've activated the Diabell effect, we go Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, fuse the Diabell and the used Desiree to make our Moa Regina. And this does 2 things. First of all, it activates Desiree's send effect, because it was sent to the graveyard. So this is a free targeted send. Then, Moa Regina has the ability on a quick effect, whenever you activate an Azamina or Sinful Spoils effect, it can pop 2 cards on the field. So we still have our Azamina Ila Sevilla to Omni Negate if we haven't used it already. But more importantly, in our graveyard, we have this Morian. And the ability or the effect to set this card from the graveyard being a quick effect, meaning you can activate it during your opponent's turn, that is an effect of a Sinful Spoils card that you can chain Moa Regina to. So we still get our Guardian Chimera pop with this card. We haven't used the LZ of the White Forest in our hand yet, so we have a starter for next turn as well to go combo again, to reloop our combo. If she lives through the rest of their turn, which if you're popping 2 cards after all this, they don't have anything left hardly. You can recycle back 1 illusion monster with Azamina Moa Regina. So if you've had to use your Ila Sevilla, you bring your Ila Sevilla back. Now you have an Omni Negate again. Ila Sevilla makes this a 6k beater because Ila Sevilla doubles Azamina damage. Or you can just bring back your Diabell again from the graveyard. So you have your boss monster back again. Like this, Azamina Moa Regina, specifically in the Fiendsmith, because we end on Desiree all the time, has been absolutely nuts and probably my favorite reason to be playing the Fiendsmith package. This card is crazy, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you give this at least a test and see how it works for you. I still don't think you need to be playing the Saint Azamina. I'm still not a fan of that card. It doesn't really do enough to shut off the meta decks right now, but I really love the addition of Moa Regina to this deck. That being said, quick reminder, we're going to be watching the YCS Houston this weekend, so come join me at twitch.tv/Grinning Neko. Come hang out and chat, watch with me, watch along, have some popcorn, have some snacks. Again, thank you for making the subathon so successful and such a wonderful and fun event. We did hit all of our goals for the subathon, so we will be doing a locals recording. I've already got permission from my local store. They're gonna actually be sponsoring the video as well, so giving me a mat and all that stuff to play on. It's gonna be very cute. I'm excited for it. That'll be coming up as well in the future, probably after ban list as well, so I don't play anything inaccurate. And again, let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see the Alliance Insight review White Forest update sometime this week or weekend pre-ban list, or if you would like for me to wait for after the ban list. Hopefully we get some key changes, because again, I really feel like what is on this upcoming ban list determines how strong White Forest is going to be. And outside of that, thank you of course for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the list. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, good night.